I am the vine, you are the branches. Remain in me, and you will bear much fruit. The problem with this image and this gospel for us is that we're not agricultural people. And so we don't get a vine and a branch. We don't have vines in our yard. And so we can miss the extraordinary significance of what Jesus is saying. The closest thing we have is a tree. So when you go home, look at a tree, okay? And you'll notice there's a trunk and there's branches. Well, you and I are a branch. And that branch is connected to the trunk. It's totally connected. It's like the trunk, but it's off different too. And its very life comes from the trunk of the tree. And as long as it's connected to that tree, the branch grows and bears fruit and flowers. But if it's cut off, it withers and dies. It's like our arm, it's connected to us completely. It's part of us. But we could lose it, and it would die, and we would remain. This is an extraordinary image of intimacy with God, of union with God, to be connected. Our very life coming from Him is what Jesus is saying. We see this throughout John's gospel when he says things like, I call my own sheep by name. My sheep hear my voice. I know mine, and they know me. He's saying that he has called each of you by your name, that his voice has gone out to you, to me, that he knows you. He knows all of you, and he wants you to know him. Last week I asked the question, what kind of church do you want? Do you want a filling station kind of church? Get your grace, go your merry way, tank up, that's it? Today's gospel asks another question. What kind of Jesus do you want? What kind of relationship with Jesus do you want in your life? And we have different kinds of relationships. We could have, a socially polite one. You say hi to people, wave that you know a little bit. The guy delivers your mail. You're polite. That's it. Or you could have an acquaintance. Jesus can be an acquaintance in your life. You know their name, you shake their hand, you say hello, you talk about the weather and sports. You might ask how their kids are doing. But that's about it. Or you could have a friend. Not just any friend, but an intimate friend. And when you have a best intimate friend, you know them. And they know you because you share your life with them. You share your mind and heart with them, and they with you. And there's a union that occurs between you. And it has an effect on your life. Like in marriage, the union has an effect. It's transformative. We see clearly in today's gospel the kind of relationship Jesus wants. He wants to be the vine and you the branch. He wants you to be completely connected to him, to live in him. In everything you do, when you work, when you play, when you suffer, when you sleep, when you rise, when you think, when you pray, you're in him. He wants all of you all the time, and you all of him all the time. This image here of, remain in me. How beautiful is that? Just rest in me. Remain in me. Because I remain in you. Oh my. Jesus remains in you. You were baptized, confirmed. He's in you, remaining there. And he wants you to remain in me, in him. To abide in him. because he abides in you always. But we get distracted and we minimize this. We think it's a little religious act we do once in a while. We ignore it. And so we miss how deep and how intimate this can be. And the branch can kind of wither when we do that. We don't have that vitality of life that comes from being in him. That's transformative life. You know, last week, I spoke about the words of Pope Francis when he said the shepherd should smell the sheep. What he meant, and what I suggested, is that we in church should be like that with one another. We should be close enough to one another, to some people, that we smell them. Meaning we smell their life. We get to know them. Their joys and their sorrows, their tragedies and their triumphs. Because then we become a community of people. Well, I think today I'd like to suggest there's another smell. And that is the smell of the shepherd. You see, when the sheep are around and there's no shepherd, they're agitated and they're tense and they're frightened and they're confused and life is not good. But when the shepherd shows up, they sense he's there, they smell him. And they're at peace, and they're at rest, and life is good. We are meant to be close enough to Jesus in our life that we can smell his presence, sense him with us, know when he's near. And when we know him, it changes us, transforms us. Life is good, it's different. I'd like to use an example that speaks profoundly to me about this. It's based on a game show that was present years ago on television. It's called Supermarket Madness, I think was the name. And during this game show, they had 3 contestants who each had a shopping cart. And they were given like a minute or 2 minutes to go through the grocery store and get as many items of high value, different value in their grocery cart and bring it back to the checkout. And whoever got the most value at the checkout wins. So this one time, they started the game and there was 3 contestants and 2 of them took off and they're throwing stuff in and grabbing things and holding on and stuffing their cart. And there's this one person going up and he's just taking his time. He's taking stuff, puts things back and looks at things. People are screaming, "What are you doing? You're going to lose. Get the stuff in there." So they all come up to the register at the end. The 2 people have their big shopping carts, and there's this one guy's got a few items in it. And people are saying, "What's wrong with you? Why aren't you got nothing in there?" So he stops and looks at him and says, "Well, you don't understand, you see. My Father owns this place." See, that is the life of a disciple. A disciple who's connected to the vine. A disciple who knows the shepherd and smells his presence with him always. That's the life of a disciple who knows he or she is the son and daughter of God who is their Father. And when you and I are connected with God like that, when we walk through life with God like that, it changes everything. It changes how we go through life. Our anxiety, our fear, our tension lifts, removes, and we go through life with a confidence and a trust and no fear, because our Father owns this place. He owns this world in which we live, in which we move and have our being. When we're connected with him, it changes everything. That is discipleship, friends. Disciples connected with God as our life. And that changes our life. May we have that faith. May we be that connected to him who so loves us.